Okay, welcome. I hope my phone is it working. Yes, it is working. Welcome here in Helmond. It's a nice day outside. It could be some rain by the end of the day. If it's going to be warm in this room, just put out your jacket. We do have a working conference, and that's why I put my jacket out as well to demonstrate that we are going to work. What I'm going to do in the next 50 minutes is a little bit giving you some insights behind our thinking, why we did it in this way. Then the rest of the day you'll notice that not everything is settled yet. We have this workshop now, and it is together with you that we want to steer it in the way we all want to have it. And that all what we want to have is a little bit mentioned here. It might start now in May. It'll take years before we have cooperative driving really up and running in the world. And just imagine the following. It's actually strange to drive a car by a steering wheel. Imagine yourself, years later on, you have grandchildren. And they ask about the old days. And they'll ask you, Grandpa, did you have a wheel to steer your car? And you have to say, yes, we had that steering wheel. Actually, if I would have fallen asleep on our holiday travel to France on the highway, and I would have fallen asleep, or just for a split second, made a mistake, the whole car could crash. The whole family could crash. And the grandchildren would not have been there. That's, in an emotional way, describing the ambition we all have. That's why can't cars at least drive a little bit more autonomously. Now, the darker challenge was on autonomous driving. That might be far away, 30 years away. The challenge is a little bit now to have cooperative driving, that cars at least together can drive a little bit more safer, and especially in the Netherlands, that's the reason why we started this one, in traffic jams. If you just could make the flow a little bit more smoother, we could save in traffic jams. And if you just do the calculations of the investment by the public authorities in expanding roads, and you could delay the expanding of the roads for years, it saves millions, really. But predicting the future, somebody called it Black Swan. I use this picture always from Jules Verne about how he thought space travel would look like years ahead. And he just designed the large bullet for it. You all know that the future was different. We at TNO, we are the Dutch, or the largest Dutch research organization, contract research organization, both for public as well as for private companies. About 4,000 or 5,000 people in it, and in the division industry of science and industry, where I'm from, we are especially working for industry. Our mission, actually, it's even by law, it's our mission is to apply scientific knowledge to strengthen the aim of strengthening the innovation power of industry and government. What we are trying to do is really looking behind the horizon on what's going to happen in the nearby future. What kind of industries will be important in the nearby future. And sometimes you do see a paradigm shift. And this driving these cars is a kind of paradigm shift. It's already for 10 years predicted, but why will it happen now? And these are some slides I'll try to explain to you. In the 70s, 80s, it was all about mainframe computers. Then we got this price erosion in computing hardware, Moore's law. And actually, several years later, IBM was not making the money anymore. It was really Microsoft. Software was a scarce thing. You paid a fortune on it, and a mainframe became a PC. What happened in the 90s really was that telecom operators made a fortune on bandwidth. They monopolized it. The thing is that on bandwidth, the price performance curve, the learning curve there, is similar to Moore's law. It's about doubling, the criteria is really the amount of megabytes you send or transmit on a daily basis. That's going down so rapidly that the same will happen with telecom operators as what happened in the hardware world, that in the hardware world all mainframe vendors almost died. But this Moore's law in 15 years' time affects 1,000 is really creating a paradigm shift in industry. And we all know there's the UMTS license sales, which cost billions and were worth just hot air, that the challenge is not so much on bandwidth. And one of the things these days is that still a car has been designed with the concept of bandwidth is expensive. GPRS, things like that are expensive. You have to realize that bandwidth will become 1,000 times cheaper in 10 to 15 years' time. Then you are not going to design a product anymore about the bandwidth limitation. And these days it was still a box which was not connected. When bandwidth is not an issue anymore, for example, with the internet, we're connecting all kinds of boxes, computer boxes with each other. If bandwidth is not going to cost you anything anymore in the nearby future, you're going to connect cars. That's the thinking behind it. And then there is another thing. If you can connect cars, if you really can start designing something as a system, connecting a lot of things together, there's another thing as well. That is that hardware continues to become cheaper and cheaper. You can have, and that's the message a little bit behind it, a lot of sensors in a car in the nearby future. I showed it on this particular thing. It's not about the size anymore of a house, it is really about the size of hardware because that is the cost of it. So the cost per unit, per volume, is going down along this line. The important thing about this graph is that this is 1,000, this is double logarithmical, this is a million, this is a billion, and this is 1,000 billion. So we're going to make 1,000 billion and realize that we only have 5 billion people on the world who could afford it at this moment. And we'll have 1,000 billions or just 500 billions. That means that you'll have 100 devices with the power of a PC around you in a couple of years. The thing is, however, that these devices are going to be real small. It will go from a cubic inch at this moment, which is a small-sized phone at this moment, to something which can be pretty thin, actually. Then you get polymer electronics for it, that kind of stuff. But it will go to smaller sizes again and again. That implies that a car in 10 years' time from now will have no issue on bandwidth, will be able to communicate with its environment tremendously, which we hardly do now because we don't design on bandwidth for free. And secondly, intelligent sensors will be pretty cheap. You can implement a lot of sensors really in a car.